Det är mycket snack också.
Hello and welcome back to this final little segment about the whole process from preparing, recording, editing, mixing, and finally releasing your track. This is sort of the post-mixing segment. You might think you're done when you've mixed your tracks, but we don't think so. At least you have to go all the way with your material, either by having it mastered by someone, and then it needs to end up on a platform, probably a digital one these days, to upload it and to see if it actually creates problems in your mix. Then you might have to go back and redo some things that are suddenly really audible or not audible.
Just to comment on the digital jungle out there with formats constantly changing and developing, I think it's really difficult to give any advice. I mean, today you can have apps in your mixing process that plugins that if you want, how does this song sound broadcast over TikTok into an iPhone? And then you can sort of adjust the mix so it sounds good in that environment. If you think that's your main target, well, in 2 weeks it will be another sound. So I think you still need to just be happy with your own mixing. I remember going back to the days when we did our analog stuff and it was going to be broadcast in different radio stations. We had some commercial radio stations with heavy compression and a lot of boost in the bass register as opposed to public service in Sweden that was more flat and neutral. And we also needed to make mixes that would work. So we did radio mixes that actually they were prepared to work in that commercial radio environment. That means that it's actually our sound, our compression that will be controlling it, not theirs. Then we had 2 choices. Now you have 15 million choices of channels. So stay updated.
Yeah.
That's my only advice. When it comes to the mastering process, I think let's say that you're actually going to do an album release, not necessarily a physical album, but on Spotify, for example, or YouTube. I think if you send this to a very, very good mastering engineer. A lot of people say that there are mastering engineers and they don't know anything about mastering actually, and they sit with a pair of headphones in a basement somewhere and charge you for it. I think there's a huge market for this, but not very many are on a high professional level today. But if you find these engineers, they usually have a very, very good room, very good speakers, they have good analog gear, they have years and years of mileage and knowledge of different styles of music. That's what you're buying, actually. They will send back a track to you, and then you will listen to it. And if you listen to it in your studio without your room correction software, you will be irritated because it doesn't sound as good as the mix that you just did. So it will always be unfair to this poor mastering engineer. So what that person actually is delivering is a second opinion that you actually need to take seriously. I'm always skeptical when I get the mastering mixes back because it doesn't sound like the mix I sent to them. But after a while I realized, okay, actually this probably works better, even if it's against my intuition to say so. Because it's different from the baby you delivered last week. So be prepared for that and bring it home. Listen to it in your car, listen to it in your home, listen to it playing from your iPhone, listen to it in some bad speakers. Send it to some people to listen to this who have not even heard your mix to get reactions on it. They might come with a reaction, I can't hear the lead singer in bar 57, and they can hear things that actually you need to go back and remix it. Sometimes you realize, okay, this is actually such a big problem. No mastering engineer can fix it. So then you actually send the mastering engineer a slightly modified mix, and then they wait, because usually today they can keep their settings, the mastering engineers. So they have a total recall. So they just do it once again like they did the last time. So this is a very, very important part of the process, because it's actually the one person that sits between you and the final listener for the rest of eternity.
Mm.
And that's a scary thought sometimes when you leave things to the mastering. Hey, I have to live with this for the rest of my life, which you do.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and I would say maybe of course most mastering engineers would like that too. Like, here you go, here's your master files. But I mean, it's also part of the service to be able to say, hey, I've changed a few things. Can you do a recall on this song? Or it's a part of the product you actually buy. And serious places, they would definitely understand that completely. But yeah.
Yeah, and also I think many times you do mixes that you only need for like a little promotional clip of 15 seconds, or a little thing that you're going to post somewhere or whatever, you know. So you should actually learn how to do very, you know, basic mastering yourself. To work with a good limiter, actually buy a good software limiter, because they are so much better than any freeware. You might think it looks like a very simple tool, but it's not. The best ones are complicated and do a fantastic work that you don't even see that they're doing. Once again, FabFilter L2, just amazing. But there are more out there. So learn, you know, the basics of mastering, even if you don't intend to master perhaps album releases yourself, which I recommend that you don't. But it's good to know.
Do we have any last comments here?
Well, maybe one last comment is that have a release plan, because if no one knows about your music, that would be sad. So I mean, have a plan to make people find out that you have made this recording. That's also a huge part of the process, and use help to promote your music, because there are people that are very good at spreading the word. So
Yeah, I mean, of course that's a topic that is very, very important for artists today, especially the very much do-it-yourself first out there. But to publish music is a very time-consuming thing to do if you want to do it yourself completely, because many people think that, hey, I'm going to post it on Spotify and see if I can become a famous overnight. And you know, that's just fraction of the digital market in the world. Today, the biggest music player in the world is YouTube. Actually, for music only, with no image, with just a still image, this is the place where it has most coverage in the world when you look at territories. So you need to find a digital distributor that is willing to take on. There are some major labels that do this, but then threshold is high. They probably won't accept you if you're not already in the market, so to speak. But then there are also a lot of not pro bono, but they are accepting a lot of independent labels. That means that you add this to them, they take 10-20% of your income, but they will put it on 100 or 200 different digital platforms and deal with all the legal works and all the conversions and all of that, and they will do it within a week or two. And believe me, that is a time saver. So digital distribution, go through some company there.
I remember, I kind of feel old when I say it, looking at CD covers. And I was always interesting who mixed and produced it and mastered it, because it seems like this dark art form, also when we talk about it, that it really means something who's sitting behind the mastering process. And there I could read exactly where things were mastered, and that was helpful for me when I started out. You don't really see those credits anymore. When you hear music that you like, check out where it's mastered, or write the people who produced it and asked, hey, where did you master? I think most people would be happy to help and send their recommendations forward to you. It's really helpful. Cool. I think we
Yeah, it's the wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Thank you for talking to me and for sharing all your knowledge with me and everyone who's been listening. I hope it was helpful. We will do more talks about sound, maybe with other mixing engineers or singers or people who have experience specifically. So I guess all we have left to do is say goodbye and good luck with your productions out there.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Det är mycket snack också.